I'm trying to waffle a bit less, so I'm going to try and get quite a few points compacted into 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. Well, under 11 minutes anyway, so that gives me a bit of leeway. So, right, now, yes, despite the fact that I'm somebody who is really involved at the moment in protests outside so-called migrant hotels, um, I also think at the same time it's possible to believe that there's too much. There's a tendency towards demonizing and stigmatizing and dehumanizing migrants. There is this tendency, and I'm very much trying to balance that out and um, to counter that. There is a lot of dehumanizing. It's possible to have very strong views, like I do, on this subject, and at the same time, you know, see the nuances and the layers to it as well, and to also think something else which may seem to be in contradiction when actually what it is, you're just trying to balance everything out. A lot of people are amazed or very upset that someone they think of as a kind, charitable person, like I hope I am. Someone like me could be involved in such protests. How could I be supporting such things? People ask. And indeed, some people genuinely, some people, it doesn't matter how much you debate with them politely, assertively, but politely, that you're just going around in circles. But there are some people who genuinely believe that people like me are part of a movement which is aggressive, nasty, racist, etc., violent, etc. Really not. Yes, okay. Yeah, there can be, of course, a minority like that, and sometimes people get like that, and they're not even fully conscious of it. They're just so upset and so angry and so scared, so they may sort of become a little bit, or seem to be a bit racist, or borderline racist. People do get very angry and very emotional. Now, so I've only got, well, probably about 7 or 8 minutes now left. So, what am I trying to put across? Okay, my interview with my friend Christine, I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did. 76-year-old Christine, a friend of mine, her interview has gone to, I'm getting on for 30,000 people now. She seems to have struck a chord, touched the hearts, and reached a lot of people. Now, she was criticised. She had a lot of support and admiration and adulation, but she was criticised, for example, for saying that migrants that come here need to have our values and our standards and need to behave the way we behave and fit in with our culture. Yes, they should, to some extent, of course, assimilate with our culture, and they should adapt, and they're coming into another country. But people were right to say that, we can't just sort of, why do we say that we are superior when we have really bad, terrible behaviour, bad manners, and terrible crimes committed by white British people? Yes, that's absolutely true. Nobody's saying that that we don't have our own. Of course, this is what I keep saying. We've got enough of our own problems, enough of our own criminals, enough of our own bad behaviour, without importing vast swathes of random, anonymous, illegal people that might be, some of them or a lot of them, similar. The ones that we have in our own country, we know who they are, we know where they are, broadly speaking. So why would we be importing in loads of the same from elsewhere? But people are right to point out that often manners are not, that decorum and manners are lacking in parts of our society, and white British people can be just as selfish and rude and bad mannered, and obviously white British people commit horrendous crimes. So yeah, whilst I feel that most of these people in the hotel should be humanely deported, and most of them shouldn't be here, and they should be humanely deported as soon as possible. At the same time, nobody, no right-thinking person would say that all those people in those hotels are bad or dodgy or up to anything. Okay, there will be some that are, but logically, they're a mishmash of people. And this is the problem. We've got enough of our own problems without bringing the same in from elsewhere, and or similar in from elsewhere. And this is the issue. It's chaotic. It's limitless. There are no quotas. It's out of control, and we don't know. I know it sounds corny, but we don't know who the people are. They're such a mishmash of people. So yeah, if there are, say it's a minority, a really bad minority in there, we don't know who they are, where they're from, what's going on. That's the other thing. There's no real policy. There are no controls. There are no checks. So it's not about racism. It's about the fact that people don't know who they are, and they're predominantly male. Again, it sounds cliched, but they're male, mainly in their 20s, possibly 30s. Mainly young, and hardly any or no women and children. And so yeah, I think you can be, human rights and welfare work both ways. We have to consider the welfare and the human rights of people that are already here, as much as, if not give priority to the rights and the welfare and the human rights of people that are already here, the indigenous population, more focus than what we do to people coming in limitless, chaotic numbers from abroad. Some people go on way too much about rapes and murders, I believe. Yes, I believe. Of course, I know this is a massive issue. Safety, crimes, that we know that the crime issues are horrendous. Rape. We know that many of these guys coming from countries where women don't have the same status. And yes, I believe that most of these guys shouldn't be here and they should be humanely deported. But at the same time, I hate the way that we often generalize about their attachment to crime, rape, and sexual violence, etc., etc. I feel that you can have strong views and protest against these migrant hotels like I do, but still look at these people as obviously as human, as a mixture of human beings. Even if you think they should be all deported, or most of them deported, which I do, and I think most of them are simply economic migrants, fair enough. But where are the numbers? Where are the quotas? Where's the policy? It just seems to be limitless and chaotic. So yes, this is why many, I don't know, what respectable, charitable, kind people, including some legal immigrants and migrants, and including some people that come from mixed race, or come from migrant or immigrant families or backgrounds, including them. This is why they're protesting outside these hotels. You can be a perfectly charitable, egalitarian person and still be protesting outside these hotels. So yeah, I just want to we need to stop the dehumanization and look at it in a more balanced way, but at the same time we still need to keep our passionate resolve in these urgent times, because we are on the verge of civil war, and if we don't slow this down or stop this or start deporting people, then it literally will be civil war. So yeah, that's why I'm outside migrant hotels protesting. And it's possible to be a completely, utterly un-racist, progressive, forward-thinking, charitable person, but still be angry. When I say angry, it mustn't be toxic anger. It must be, we have to keep our dignity and our classiness in our protest. But yeah, it's quite possible to be a Christian as well. I'm a progressive, liberal Christian, Anglican Christian, and I see no issue at all with protesting outside migrant hotels. It's not about intimidation or racism. Okay, as I said, there may be a minority, but there are people from all walks of life, all socio-economic groups, that share our views. There's an urgent need for calm debate and actually listening to each other, the people on the right and people on the left, if we're going to use those labels. Unfortunately, at these protests, it's not happening at the moment so far, but we can work on it. Maybe to some extent we can improve that, but we just cannot rise to the bait, because we don't want to be discrediting our movement, which is what we do. Is if we start losing the plot and rising to the bait, so to speak, we've got to be above that. That doesn't mean being pious and sweet. It means being passionate and having resolve, but at the same time not rising to the bait and not getting really angry. Now, a lot of the people, I've gone over 10 minutes. A lot of the people on the left, or left-leaning people on the other side of the road that were shouting across to us at the last protest on Friday evening. Christine, the 76-year-old lady that I interviewed, was right to point out that nobody's hearing each other. It's just a shouting match. And so what do we do about that? And a lot of the people on the left, on the other side of the road, I said to them through the megaphone, to them on the other side of the road, they were raising some really good points about the billionaires, about the global elite, about arms sales, arms dealing, about war, about issues with the NHS and how so many migrants and immigrants make our NHS what it is. They were raising some really great, valid points, but I felt it was a digression, a real digression, and going off on a tangent. And I said this to them many times, because all these issues are valid issues. They're great. Of course we have to talk about these issues, the global elite, corruption, I don't know, who's actually pulling the strings in this world, and why, wars and all the rest of it, billionaires. Okay, those points are valid, but how is having vast, endless swathes of people leaving those countries and coming to countries like Britain, France or Germany in their droves, limitless numbers, if they're all leaving and coming to countries like this, how is that dealing with and helping any of the issues that people on the left are raising? How is this migrant hotel crisis and this unlimited chaotic migration helping any of the issues they're talking about? How is it helping any of the root issues in the world and in the countries that people are coming from? It's doing nothing to help those issues. It's a sticking plaster solution. In fact, if you have people endlessly just flooding into this country and France or Germany, you're actually, in my opinion, you're actually enabling the inequalities and the corruption and the problems, the root problems, to continue. You're actually enabling them. You're actually making them go on for longer, because it's a sticking plaster solution. It's not helping this country. It's causing real trouble, almost about to cause real trouble for this country and hurt people in this country. It's not solving any of the issues. It's not helping these migrant hotels, and this chaos is not helping this country. It's not helping the countries they're coming from. It's not doing anything about the issues in the countries they're coming from, what they're escaping from. It's enabling it to continue if you just have this sticking plaster solution of people just flooding in endlessly in their swathes of people in their droves. That's not doing anything to help or anything to resolve any of the major world issues. The corruption, the inequality, the wars, the billionaires. I'm not saying that all billionaires are bad people, far from it. Just being a billionaire doesn't make you a bad person, not at all. But the people pulling the strings, yes, we know that migrants, are so essential at the moment to our NHS, and many legal immigrants and migrants are very angry about this migrant hotel situation, and these illegals as well. And but as another side point, I said through the megaphone, yes, the people on the left, on the other side of the road that were shouting at us, some of them, were raising very valid points, very valid issues. Um, but how is this migrant hotel situation, unlimited, uncontrolled, chaotic migration, helping any of those issues? It's not doing anything about those very valid issues. And as another side point, um, isn't it shameful, or isn't it a really sad, shameful, pathetic reflection on us as a nation and our nationhood, that we are so reliant and dependent on workers and staff from abroad? What's happened to us as a country that we've become so reliant? What's happened to our workforce? It's actually quite a shameful, sad reflection. And so I'm actually having a go, if you like, at us, at our workforce, not having a go at the migrants or the immigrants who are often doing a great and important jobs very well. But yeah, none of this uncontrolled migration, everyone just coming here, none of it's gonna help the issues in this world. It's not gonna make any difference to the corruption and the issues, and not going to help the countries they're coming from at all. It's a sticking plaster solution that's very damaging to this country as well. And a lot of them, if not most of them, obviously I can't give you statistics, but a lot of them, if not most of them, are economic migrants. Fair enough, but it's out of control. It's there are no quotas, no limits. It's just chaos. It's crazy. And yeah, so Christine's 76-year-old Christine, my friend that I interviewed, I was with her on many things. She said I wasn't with her on absolutely everything, but I was with her on many things. And she I didn't think her interview would be so popular. But yeah, it's true. She said people that come here must have our values and our manners. And it's true that a lot of British people, don't have manners, and a lot of British people don't have much decorum, or some of them don't. So again, we shouldn't be sort of saying that we're automatically superior. Yes, there are some wrong uns, possibly lots of wrong uns and really bad people amongst these migrants. Maybe there are. But let's look at them, let's not dehumanize them. Let's look at them as a mixture of people, a whole mishmash of people. But people say, oh, we're importing the third world. Again, that can be an overstated point. Yeah, there are some bad eggs amongst them, possibly a lot. But we must remember, how obviously how badly British people can behave as well, and and the antics that white British people get up to. But at the same time, yeah, I think most of these migrants in these hotels shouldn't be here, and we've got to do something very, very quickly about this. And so yeah, hopefully that's a very waffly. I didn't put any planning into this. It's very spontaneous and a bit waffly, but just trying to explain how someone that people see as a nice person like me can be involved in these protests, outside migrant hotels, and how it's not racist at all, and how you can be a level-headed, humane person and still think that there need to be mass deportations, and how this is not helping the countries they're coming from. It's not helping this country, and it's not getting to the root causes. It's not helping or doing anything about the issues, the very valid world issues that people on the left were raising on the other side of the road. They said, look at the people, look to the elites and the structures and the injustices that are causing this. Don't have a go at the vulnerable victims. Well, migrants in those hotels. Well, I don't think they're all vulnerable. I think some of them are here opportunistically, economic migrants. Fair enough. There are British people that would do the same. But I don't think they're all sort of vulnerable, and we're not having a go at them personally. We are having a go at the politicians, the elites, the real decision makers, the people pulling the strings. We are, and I think we need to do our protests, peaceful, classy but very fervent protests. Yes, outside government buildings, outside council buildings, outside MPs' residences. Yes, we need to do that, but we also need to keep it going outside the hotels as well, consistently and in a determined way, with people from all walks of life. And above all, let's just keep it classy, as they say. Now, I'm sure there's still more to say, but hopefully that provides a bit of balance there. My goodness, 20 minutes already.